So now what I like to do is, you've learned how to strip your door. Now we want to show you a little bit about maintenance. And I'll tell you something, I give this to every one of my customers, not everyone, probably 70% of them, that do want to do some of the work themselves and save money. But what I found over the years is if you put a kit together where everything is in one box, then every year when it comes time to put a little maintenance coat on, you just grab the box and everything's in it. So that's what I wanted to go through today, just right now, show you how quickly you can build a maintenance kit for yourself. So first thing, you're going to use a box. And I'll tell you, a lot of times, you can get a box on Amazon, roughly 12 inches by 12 inches, maybe 6 or so inches high. That'll work just fine. But if you don't have one of those, the second thing you can do, which works really well, is you just go to Home Depot and I get a small box. Their smallest box that they sell. It costs about $1. So what we're going to do is just open this box up, put the flaps down, sort of like this. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to run a little tape over that. So got some tape right here, and we're just going to go over one of the ends, try to straighten the box out so it's as tight as can be. Just put a little tape running down one of the sides like that in between the groove there. I'm going to do it again on the other side. So now we've got something that looks like this. And just to give it a little extra strength, I'm going to take off a piece of tape here. It doesn't have to be blue tape. It can be yellow tape, whatever you want. Run it along one of the ends here so it hangs over. Then I'm going to just flip it over. Put the ends together like this. Now I'm going to do this on the other side too. This is where the two flaps come together, so you can see there's a little airspace there. This just gives us a little extra strength so that when you put everything in it, it's not going to fall apart. So once again, I'm going to just go across one of the ends, come over here, and put it down, go over. There, now we've got a nice box. And what I actually like to do is just turn these flaps inward. Then I can see what's in the box, Now, first thing you're going to do is we're going to get a tarp here. And what I like are these little tarps. I get these at Harbor Freight. This is a 5x7 tarp. I'm just going to fold it in half here so that it fits inside that box really nice. So you just see, we just put it in one side of the box like that. Okay, the second thing is going to be, you're going to get a gallon of finish when you finish. Now, sometimes you can get these cans in quarts, especially at True Value Hardware, that type of thing. You can get these so that you don't have to have a whole gallon, A quart's usually quite a bit, especially if you just have a door. If you've got a door, side lights, a frame, maybe even a transom window up on top, then you're just going to want to get a gallon. So what I do is just put the rest of that gallon inside your box when you're done. Then you're going to need some paint thinner. Now, you're probably not going to want a gallon. You don't need a gallon. You can just get a quart, but I've got a gallon right here. So it'll say paint thinner or mineral spirits, same thing. It doesn't matter. It's basically the same thing. So let's put that in our box too, here. Okay, then what we're going to need are some nitrile gloves. I wouldn't use latex because we're using petroleum-based products which would eat through them. So I think you can get these. I buy them by the 50, of course, because I make these kits all the time. But I think you can get like 5 or 6 pairs at Home Depot even, and just put those in your kit. Okay, goes right in the kit right there. And then what I like to do is get a couple foam brushes. And actually, when I build a kit for my clients, I put like 4 to 6 of them in there, so that they use one a year. So it's enough for like 6 years. And I really like these ones that are from Benjamin Moore because this wood goes up about halfway into the brush. So it's nice and, you get a lot of pressure on that. The cheaper ones, in fact, some are more expensive, but they're still made, the wood handle just stops right at the end of the brush, and it's a plastic kind of little thing that goes up into there, so it's real floppy. So I really like these because it gives us more, we can put more pressure on the brush. So let's put those in our kit. Then you're going to need stir sticks, and you can get stir sticks free at any paint store. So next time you're at Home Depot or Sherwin-Williams, you know, just pick up 4, whatever they'll give you, and just put those in the kit. Okay. The next thing you're going to get is a sponge, a sanding sponge. Now you can get these in almost any grit. What I usually do is I buy a couple dozen, so it gives me a various grits. But you want a 220 to 320. So if your sanding sponge is not a 220 or 320 grit, then what you can do is just buy these. There's 20 here, but you can get them like 5 or so in a pack. And then what you do is just open that up. This happens to be a 320. And if you have any question about that, right on the back, it'll tell you it's this 320 grit. Okay, so then what I do is I fold it in half and okay, then what you can do after you've done that with sandpaper, it's really easy to just rip it. It rips right down the sand. And then I would fold it over and I would rip it one more time. So we have something that looks like this. I've just folded it, and then I'm going to rip that down. Now what we do is put this in your kit, but in between each coat, you want to sand the flat surfaces. So what I do is I just use a sanding sponge and I wrap that sandpaper around it like this, and I use that on the flat surfaces. The reason is if you don't have a backer and just sand, you're going to get more pressure in one place, so it's not going to be an even sand. So I always like these sanding pans that I just wrap the sandpaper around it, just hold it on the sides, and then just real quickly knock down the the flat surfaces of the door before you put the finish on. Okay, so let's put that in our kit, and let's put a couple of these in. Then let's see here. Then we're going to put some rags in. I did forget to get some rags for this demo, but I always just put some rags in. Now, I would not use the rags, as I've said many times through this manual, because the rags can spontaneously combust if they're rolled up and thrown in a corner, and especially if it's hot and humid out. So I use only these instead. The only reason I have a rag is because maybe when you're putting on the finish, there's not a maybe, you will drip. You could drip, and make sure the tarp is covering, that's why you have the tarp here, so it covers the whole porch or deck on the outside of the door. And I'd even open the door, put a little over and inside the door as well, so that you don't have any problem with that. So I think that's going to work out really well for you. The other thing you'd use in a rag, just if you've got the rag, just dump it, pour a little bit of the mineral spirits onto the rag, and then if you have some on the glass or whatever, some finish, you can just wipe that off real easily. Or if you've gotten any on your porch, if it's just concrete, raw concrete, you can do the same thing. You can just pour a little mineral spirits and wipe it up, and it'll come off just fine. Now, if you've got a vinyl sealer, like I've said, on your porch, you do not want mineral spirits or oil to get on that, because if you try to take it off with mineral spirits, you could take that vinyl covering off, and then you're going to have somebody come back and fix it. So make sure your porch is well covered. That's why I always supply a tarp for my clients, and I would encourage you to do the same. Okay, that's it for the maintenance kit. Now what you do is you just take this kit and you put it in your garage somewhere. Because it's oil, it doesn't matter if it freezes. If you're in northern climates, it doesn't matter the oil. If it was water-based, it would matter. But always keep this together. Don't put it in different areas of your, don't put this where you've got your paints and then take out the tarp and put it somewhere else. Keep it all in the same box. That way, every year, you don't have to think, wow, what do I need to get together here to put the maintenance coat on my door? All you do is you just grab your box out of the garage and you take it right to the front porch, and everything you need is in it. This is really critical. if every time during the year you have to think, what do I need to go pick up? You're not going to do it. Pretty soon the door looks worse and worse and worse. This makes it very simple. All you need is one box. Everything's in it, and when you're done, everything goes back in it. Now, if you're getting low on a supply like foam brushes or something like that, next time you're at the store, just write it on your list and pick them up. The key is that everything you need is in this box, so you don't have to think about it. It's just real easy. 30 minutes to an hour every year. It works out really well, okay? So that's it for our maintenance kit. I just wanted to go over what I do to create that for my customers and what you can do for yourself as a DIYer when you refinish your door, so that every year it's real easy to put another coat on. You never have to strip it. You don't have to take it off the hinges. You just open the door, and what you might want to do is take those weather strippings out, which I mentioned earlier, and then when you put that away, you don't even have to take the hardware off. Keep it simple. Okay, just go around it. If for some reason you get something on the hardware, just again, take a rag, a little mineral spirits, and just clean it off. It's very easy like that. We want to keep this simple. So you take those little weather strippings out, and then you can close the door, and then a day later you can put them back in after the door's dried. Otherwise, when you close the door on your weather stripping, you'll get a little ring around the door where the weather stripping has touched that oil, and you open the door and it'll actually peel a little bit of it off. So you want that to be totally open when you're putting the oil on. You know, when you close the door, you don't want to touch anything, and that's again in the book. So I don't have to go over that. Okay, I think that's pretty much it for the maintenance kit and the importance of the maintenance kit and how to maintain your maintenance kit. So yearly upkeep on your door is really simple.